Well, in other news now, the Black Business Council says the empowerment of the previously disadvantaged remains a pipe dream despite numerous promises. The council's hosting black professionals, policymakers and industry players for the 2025 BBC Summit underway in Kempton Park, east of Johannesburg. Now, the summit is the first for the Government of National Unity, also taking place in the country's G20 presidency, and when there is a trade war and changes in political dynamics. SABC News economics reporter Katlego Legodi is there and joins us live. Good afternoon, Katlego. How are the discussions coming along?
A very good afternoon to you, Juliet, and to our viewers at home. Well, it's a rolling coverage in terms of most of those discussions that have started in the morning to where you find us now. Various of those policymakers coming through to take stock with those business players in the Black Business Council to really ensure that there's meaningful transformation where the economy is concerned. So here you find Minister Ronald Lamola just giving us a breakdown of how then things are faring in terms of international relations, in terms of relations with other countries. Here, remember, he was at the OECD meeting. He was giving a breakdown and a feedback in terms of where we are right now, but also Minister Paxdow, very important person here in terms of the Transformation Fund. Remember that the country has that fund that would push to help black businesses. We see them taking stock here, Juliet, most of them saying that there's still a long way to go in terms of inclusion, but also access to finance and ensuring as well that there's a balance here. I'm going to bring into the conversation now Mr. Lechani, who's coming through, Mr. Zamani Lechani, who's coming through as the CEO of Agani, who just give us a sense really of where we find ourselves. And Mr. Lechani, really, when you look at it, black businesses are saying that there's still a long way to go. Most of them taking stock here. Also, just concerns raised around working in silos. How do we then take advantage of the G20 presidency? A lot of issues canvassed here. But what is clear is that there's still a need for meaningful transformation for these black businesses. Welcome to the SABC.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. It is true that we are at the crossroad. So as black business, this summit is in fact a call for black business to come together, to unite, and make sure that they first transact among themselves. Secondly, they support one another. In that way, we'll be able to form part of the economy. In the absence of us working together, then the economy will always be running away from us. Yes. Yes.
Let's take stock of the 30 years. Where do we find ourselves? I mean, really, there were excitement in terms of the policies that were coming through to ensure that there's equity in access to some of these markets. But as we find ourselves now, there are concerns even raised around the efficiency of even the black broad-based economic empowerment, the triple BEE. Where are we? Have we seen these policies work? Let's take stock of the 31 years.
Well, so far the policy hasn't worked, honestly, if you look at it. If we believe that the policy has worked, given the majority of the African or black businesses, we should be having 70% of black businesses or entrepreneurs, or at least 80%, fully operational. However, we haven't executed these policies. We've got good policies in our statutes or constitution. However, the execution thereof is lacking. We therefore need to make sure that we walk the floor, we implement the policies, and see how far the policies can take us through. The broad-based economic empowerment, yes, it needs to be reviewed completely, because I think it was never targeted for the individuals that they benefited out of it, because majority of black business are still not benefiting out of that policy. Now, it means it is not working. Therefore, we need to relook at it. However, as black business as well, we need to make sure that we implement whatever we know, whatever we can do to make sure that we create in the environment. No one can develop businesses for us. We need to be innovative. We need to come up with creativeness and make sure that we implement our own businesses so that we are able to talk about the economy. Without ourselves creating our own businesses. You can't talk about the economy, and you cannot transform the existing businesses, because those businesses exist on their own effort and mission and statement. So they have principles in which they've started the policies. No one can go in and transform them. You can't. Let's start our own, and then we'll be able to move forward.
Mr. Lechani, I have to let you go. But before we let you go, let's speak about the G20, what it presents then for black businesses. At the same time, look at some of these developments around the trade tariff instability that is playing itself out, the geopolitics. Where do we see black businesses fitting in some of these spaces? And how do you reimagine capitalizing on some of these developments?
Look, G20 is there. It's another opportunity that we have, particularly that is led by our current president, as a president now of the G20, or chairperson of the G20. But it's equally important for us to search around and find ourselves space where we can operate. It's happening in our own country, therefore, we need to take a step. We can't be held back and watch others, maybe from other African states or other countries, to occupy. There is a talk about infrastructure. Now we need to check to say, what role are we playing, for instance, in terms of the infrastructure, logistics, AI. So we need to find ourselves somewhere, just too many. If we all go in there, we'll definitely push others to get space.
Mr. Lechani, thank you very much, sir, for your time. Mr. Zamani Lechani coming through here as the group chairman of Agani Retirement Fund. And you see them saying here that there is a need to really rethink how we approach black businesses and the economy. And some of them even excited about some of the issues that will come out here. Remember, Juliet, that this becomes the first BBC summit that is taking place under the Government of National Unity. Back to you in studio for now, Juliet.
Thanks so much. Katlego Legodi reporting from the 2025 BBC Summit underway in Kempton Park.